Welcome to TAAN TV Spotlight. I'm your host, Vance Bradford, and today's Spotlight is featuring Latinos on TAAN TV, the Tres Leches comedy troupe. And I have a very special guest in the studios, my main man. Give it up for Mr. Roman Garcia.
Vance,
what's up, Roman?
Good to see you, man.
What's up, baby?
It's been a while, but we've been crossing paths lately.
Come on now, man.
Now this segment is what? Latinos are TAAN?
No.
Is that what it is? We kind of knew
That's
that.
a good one there,
right?
baby.
Nothing groundbreaking there. We knew that already.
Man, you're hilarious. But Latino.
You're hilarious, but okay, all right.
No, it's all good, man. So how you doing? You good?
I'm doing good. You know, keeping busy. A lot of different projects going on as usual all the time. You know, I've been doing my radio show for a couple years now.
Well, tell me about it. Okay.
Yeah, Saturday Night Super Show.
Okay.
With Roman Garcia, and it's just kind of fun, entertainment, comedy. You know, community awareness stuff. So
right.
I would just keep it fun. It's an hour show. It airs on Saturday nights at 11 p.m. on AM 550, KTSA, and FM 107.1. They simulcast it, which is nice.
Okay.
Or people can live stream it from the website, ktsa.com on Saturday night. So.
Okay, so that's currently, right?
Yeah, I've
okay.
been doing that. Yeah, been doing that a couple years now, and we got a Facebook page out there if anybody wants to follow that, because we just have a lot of fun with it. Put a lot of fun stuff out there.
Good.
Makes people have a better day.
Good. Well, now tell me, how'd you even get started in the business, Roman?
Well, you know, it's funny because I was in a corporate job that I just, you know, I was doing it because this is what you're supposed to do. You got to pay your bills. And then I don't know, I just had different friends that for some reason kept bringing up like, oh man, you're so funny. You should try doing stand-up comedy. You're so funny. You should do stand-up comedy. And then this company I work for is a pretty big company. One day, the president of the company, their secretary, reached out to me and said, hey, you know, the president has to give a speech to the company, and he heard you were funny, and he wants you to write some jokes for him to put in the speech. I was like, what? Okay. So I wrote a few jokes, and I remember when he gave the speech, and people laughed at the jokes, I was like, wow, this is kind of cool, you know. So so I had just a friend that encouraged me to try some stand-up one night, and I did, and it went real good. Okay. My wife hated it, so I didn't do it again for another year. she hated it.
A year off.
Yeah, from that first stand-up, and it went really good. And my wife just didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think I was giving too much personal information. And you know how that is. You talk about real life and what happened yesterday, and I always bring up stuff about her, and I don't know exactly what it was, but so I didn't do it for a while, and then I got back into it, and I just started hitting, you know, all these open mics and stuff, and then I was a little discouraged because I was trying to be a clean comedian, because I would always think about, okay, if my mom comes to a show, like I don't want to embarrass her. Okay. You know, and so I used to think about it that way. But every comedian I saw was, you know, like a blue comedian, dirty comedians, or whatever. And I kind of started thinking, man, maybe this isn't going to be for me. And so I went to an open mic one night, and I didn't know that this was actually going to be a contest. Okay. And the comedian that won the night got to open up for this guy, Cleto Rodriguez. Okay. Who I didn't know who he was. And so everybody did their sets. I performed. I was kind of new, so I didn't win or anything. But and what's funny is the guy that did win, he's not even doing comedy anymore. Sidebar. So, and he was a hater. So, well,
I got you, Roman.
Full circle. So anyway, so Cleto goes up, and he kind of closed out the show, and he was hilarious. And it was a packed room, all these people trying to get on his show, and he was completely clean. And I went, huh, what do you know? And so that actually motivated me, and Cleto and I got to talk actually that evening, and that really motivated me to say, you know what, I'm going to keep writing and keep doing stuff and keep doing it. And then, yeah, that's kind of what happened. And I started, you know, just getting stuff, and people started noticing, and I started getting asked to do little bigger shows. And then, again, Cleto and I crossed paths when he was doing his TV show. Then he and I became good buds. And then my friend Danny Engel, again, and now, you know, now we're Tres Leches, but Danny Engel was one of just a couple of comedians really that took the time to give me any advice. You know, good. I was surprised how much drama there was with comedians. I was like, we're comedians.
But excuse me.
We're supposed to be like.
Did you say Danny Engel?
Yeah, Danny Engel.
Gave you advice.
Gave me Hey, I didn't say good advice. I said advice. I'm just glad someone was talking to me.
That's my man, man.
I was just sitting there in the corner by myself. But yeah, you know, so anyway, so through the years, we all just became friends, and that's, you know, that's just been awesome. So I've just enjoyed doing it. And then, you know, got to meet you Vance, and I know, kind of as I was starting to really get some stuff going and some following and getting some good shows, I know you one day reached out and said, hey, how would you like to, do a couple shows? And you took care of booking me for a couple things, and as a headliner, I was like, wow, this guy don't know what he's getting into, but all right. So I better write some more material. I got a strong 10. So, but yeah, so I appreciate your faith in me, and I remember this one show I was doing it. It was, you had me booked as a headliner, and I remember you told me, you said, "Don't make me look bad." I said, "All right, okay." So yeah, and it went real good, So
that's one thing I impressed about some of the comics I talked to, like Cletho and Danny. You guys, are doing clean comedy, and you stick to them guns, man. Because like you say, like at the time, being blue was the thing to do,
right?
And they would seem like getting more of the advantages, but you guys stuck to it. I mean, I seen you, Roman, and then from that you parlayed from your stand up, then you went into like your TV.
Yeah, and that was
radio.
what's cool is that the way I got into television, because now I do morning television on all the different stations here in San Antonio. I've done a lot of acting. I've done some movies and stuff. But for about 6 years, I was a regular part of Great Day SA here in San Antonio, and that's all I did was just that one show. But I learned a lot, and it was an awesome opportunity. But the way I got on that show was through my stand-up comedy. I went to a friend's movie premiere one night, and it was a locally shot film, and it was a sold-out screening. And they were having problems with the equipment, and so the brother of the girl who shot the film came up to me and said, "Hey, can you do some stand-up so people don't leave? We don't want people to leave." And I said, "All right, cool." So I go down front, and they gave me a mic, and I'm doing stand-up, and I didn't know, but one of the producers for the morning show was sitting there in the audience, and her husband was also a producer, and I had worked with him on some commercials, and so he put a good word in her ear, saying, "Oh yeah, I've worked with this guy. He's a nice guy." And it's okay, so she listened, and she goes, "Well, let's see if he's funny." And then she was like, "Wow, he's funny, and he was clean." And then next thing you know, they started asking me about coming to do some spots on the morning show, and that just kind of parlayed from there. So, yeah, it was amazing. So imagine if I'd have gone up and been completely dirty, and first of all, I'm in a room with there's families.
There you go.
And then I probably never would have got the opportunity. That's why I see a lot of comedians now trying to go more clean. I think they've seen it. I know we've had a lot of comedians. They would make fun, like they make fun of you. Well, like, "Oh, if you're clean, you're not funny." Well, let's see what happens. Let's go on stage. Let's see what happens.
Well, I always say, dirty can make you rich.
Right.
You can get rich being dirty.
Right.
But you get wealthy being clean.
There you go. That's a good philosophy.
And
so
rich
wait on that
and wealthy.
part, but I'll work on it. Yeah, I was waiting on wealthy.
Rich.
No,
yeah,
you're
well,
right.
Yeah.
You're right.
That's how
Yeah, you're right, because the type of gigs that you get as a clean comedian, the corporate gigs, gigs with the city, gigs with school districts, gigs or whatever. I mean, those are things that wouldn't have been opened up to you.
TV, film.
Yeah,
that's
TV,
what you
film,
make you
right.
you
doing radio. Getting my radio show. They already knew who I was going into the station to have the conversation about doing a radio show, so they felt comfortable with it. It wasn't like, because there's a lot of people that are scared of comedians. Like you hear, oh, like let's say to MC an event or to do a thing, or we're gonna have a comedian on. They always have to, oh man, be careful. You don't know what they're gonna say. Well, you got to be professional, and all that. And so. So yeah, I mean, it's
now, it's funny you said that. Being a comedian, do you feel you have a right to say pretty much what you want to say?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, what's funny, because even like with the morning show, I would get a little extra leeway because it's Roman, he's a comedian, he can say that thing, and so I'd make jokes, and because like. Being, you're Latino, Mexican, whatever you want to say, Hispanic, I could say things that maybe someone else couldn't say. One, because being Latino, but two, also being a comedian, I just had a little extra grace. And so it works out pretty good. And I'll even do that now. I'll say something, my wife will get mad, I open my mouth too much. She'll get mad, and I go, "What? I'm just a comedian. What are you going to say? It's a joke." And she's like, "Just stop."
So, okay, you're married.
Married.
Great. Okay. So how you balance
25 years.
25.
A bliss.
So how you balance that? I know it's tough.
I choose not to. I choose to be out of balance all the time. No. No, it's a juggling act, especially at first when I had a full-time job, trying to do comedy, kids at home, my wife's a homemaker, all that stuff. And it was hard. My wife, like I said, she really didn't like it at first because she was like, to me, it was the equivalent of running off to join the circus when I told her I'm going to be a comedian. She got really freaked out. She's like, what are you going to do? Quit your job? And just go. I go, no, I'm not dumb. I mean, I'm going to, do it on the side.
Right.
And so, and now it's worked out. But yeah, it's the nice thing now is I don't have to do a full-time job anymore like I used to have to do.
Okay.
So that helps. And that's why I like hanging out with Gleto and Danny. Like, we can go golf on a Wednesday, which is nice, and you don't have to necessarily, like I said, worry about that alarm clock in the morning. Well, Gleto does, but that's a different story. So. He's got an early alarm clock. I feel bad for him. We're out doing stuff, and he's like, guys, I got to get up at 4. So we're like, come on, man. So.
What always used to get me is like, Clutch would say, come meet me out, at a certain place, certain venue at 3:30 in the morning.
At ungodly hours. Ungodly hours.
All right,
it's like, I'd like to go, but I'm not going to go.
And then he asks you,
I'm barely going to sleep by the time you're getting up.
It's already 4:30 in the morning, and then he wants you to sing.
Right.
Dance,
exactly.
perform, be on point. I like,
yeah.
okay.
I gotta give it up to him, man, as I couldn't get up like that.
Right.
All the time. I couldn't.
So look, okay, man, I see you, you stand up, you've been on television, you're on radio. So,
and
no,
I just mess with you.
So what I was going to say is, what kind of advice do you have for, say the young ones that are coming up behind you, or even ones that just want to get in the game? Period.
Well, I mean, the thing I've always said, and I've mentioned this before in my stand-up, is that no matter what your dream is, no matter what it is you want to do, no matter what anybody tells you, you have to stick with it. You have to keep going. Even people say you're crazy. You can't quit unless it gets really difficult. Then just quit and find something else to do. So that's about it.
That's about it, right?
Now the thing is that, I mean, to me, when you're doing stuff out of the ordinary, yeah, people they question you. They don't get it. People are used to people having, like, say, a 9 to 5 or something they can wrap their head around. Oh, I'm an accountant, or I'm this, and that's cool. That's what I used to do. I used to do life insurance and financial services, and those are things people could understand. They go, well, what do you, so what do you do? I go, oh, I'm a comedian. I do TV. I do radio. And they go, so like, what does that really mean? Like, they don't get it. Like, my wife's still waiting for me to get a real job. Like, she's like waiting, and
they don't understand it.
They don't understand it. It's different. And so to me, the thing is that you just gotta blaze your own trail. You gotta blaze your own path, and you gotta really work hard to be good at what you do. The problem is people now, everybody wants to get stroked for doing not a whole lot. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants their ego patted all the time. And I heard one time someone say the worst thing you can do is read your own press clippings. You can't do that. You got to just, and you know what? It may not be for everybody, depending what it is. Like I said, I wouldn't be a good doctor. I'm not a detail-oriented guy. Like, I'll leave tools inside your body. I'm not going to be good at that. So much as I'd love to make the money a doctor makes, and love much the prestige, and I'm just going to be a horrible doctor. So you know what? Whatever it is, you got to go with your gifts, and then use your gifts to find a way to make money with your gifts. I mean, that's the simplest way, I guess, to put it.
Okay.
Find a way to make money all day, every day. I guess.
Okay, Roman, this is what I like to do, man. I'm going to try to flip the script a little bit, okay?
You can try.
Yeah, I could try. So, and like TAAN TV, one of our models, or one of the things we like to present is, we want people to tell their story, from themselves, their own way.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, if there's something that if you can say, I know it's probably more than one thing, but there's something you want to kind of clear up or throw as a misunderstanding about the Mexican culture.
Oh, okay.
Something we can learn about Mexican culture here on TAAN TV. That's one of our purposes.
We don't all have bad credit. Some of us are very responsible in that regard. So, but yeah, that's the thing. It's funny, one time I had a friend I used to work with, and one day she says, Roman, I really like you. She goes, you're not like a typical Mexican. And I was like, what does that mean? And she wasn't saying it like in a malicious way. Like, she meant that.
Right.
And so that made me think, like, what do you think a typical Mexican is? I started laughing. I said, what does that mean? And she's like, well, like, you're smart and you're very well spoken. What? Like, right? What kind of Mexicans have you met? So,
that kills me, man.
It's just funny. And so that's the thing is that, I mean, people assume, like I know sometimes, okay, let's say I don't shave a couple days, and then I'm working outside, and I got just a, undershirt on, and I understand how I may look, like even when I was building my house, I remember there was a guy that drove up, and it's a pretty big house, and so this guy drove up, I was working outside, he thought I was one of the construction workers,
right?
And he's like, hey, I'm looking for Garcia, and I'm like, I'm Garcia. He goes, you're Garcia? Yeah, I'm Garcia. So that's the thing is that
Well, let me ask you this:
all different kinds of people all do all kinds of different things,
But okay, now staying on that point you just made about that. Now you being a TV personality, so is a visual, So when people recognize you, do you feel you have to be on point anytime you're out in the public?
Yeah, for the most part, because like let's say you are having a bad day, or you're tired, or you're whatever, you still got to be friendly. You still got to be nice, because there'll be that one person that'll be like, oh man, that guy Roman, he's a total jerk. Yeah,
right.
He acts friendly on TV, but he's a total jerk. And so, and that may not be the case, but you just kind of gotta.
Then they can run to your social media,
and blast you. I had that one time. I had someone, they misunderstood a joke, and they were trying to blast me on social media and trying to do all this stuff, and I messaged them directly. I said, look, I don't think you heard the whole joke, and here's the thing, and then we wound up having a great conversation. And that person wound up being really nice, and they appreciated me. But yeah, you just, I mean, you never know. And then that's what my wife always tells me. Like, I'll leave the house, like I'll just throw on some flip flops and a t-shirt with holes in it, and she's like, you can't do that. You're gonna go. Someone's want to take a picture, and I'm like, and my attitude is, I don't care. Let them take a picture. It's what I wear. It's who I am. She's like, no, you gotta at least be presentable. And so, you just gotta do that a little bit. So. And then two, people can misconstrue things, Like one time I was out doing a segment for Great Day, and we were interviewing people at an event. And so there's this couple girls, and I'm interviewing them. Someone took a picture from far away, and all you could see was me talking to the girls. And the guy posted it, and this is the thing, he's a guy I know. He posted, he goes, hey man, I was trying to get your attention, but I noticed you were too busy talking to those girls. Okay, well for people who don't know, they didn't see the camera guy off to the side, and they didn't see the microphone that I'm holding.
Right.
And so I'm like, come on, man. So I think that what I'm trying to clear up is that I don't sleep around as much as people think I do. That's the bottom line. Just kidding, I do. Just kidding, I don't. Just kidding, I do. I don't. Yeah, that's the other thing too. People always think I'm Cleto.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I get confused all the time. They come up to me, they go, because they see, I recognize his face,
right.
I think from television, but Cleto's on every day, so they come up to me, hey, Cleto. I'm like, oh my God. So I told Cleto, I said, next person that calls me Cleto, I'm going to punch him in the face, I'm going to let you take the blame. That's it. They're going to be like, Cleto Rodriguez punched me in the face. He sure did.
Hey.
He sure did.
Man, but you
Cleto
guys
talking to those girls.
You and Cleto taking SA by storm, man. So,
by something, I don't know.
Get out there, it's good,
by something, but we have a good time. I mean, that's the thing. We like what we do. Cleto and I, we've had those conversations. I go, how do two just regular old run-of-the-mill Mexicans wind up being all over TV and all over stuff? And it's like, we don't know. But we figure there's a reason. And I think the reason is that we got bills to pay. No. I think the reason is that it puts us around people that maybe we normally wouldn't have crossed paths with. Okay. And we do try to be a positive influence to people.
Okay.
So I think, that's kind of the reason and the calling, So maybe. I don't know. Maybe there's a bigger picture. Maybe that's where you come in, Vance.
Well, we'll see, Roman, man. I'm sure. Man, this has been a great interview, man. So glad you came.
Thank you. Yes, I'm glad I was able to come here and spend some time with you.
Bless TAAN, with your presence and knowledge and
nice
career.
Look at you. Smooth talker.
Hey, this is you guys gonna be one of our first on.
That's exciting.
Yeah, Latinos on TAAN.
Groundbreaking.
Man. So you guys just set that precedence. And, we'll go from there, man.
Exactly which presidents, I'm not sure. But Lincoln, Washington.
All of them, man. Obama.
All of them. Obama. Thanks, Obama.
But that was another great edition of Latinos on TAAN TV. Our special guest here, Mr. Roman Garcia, comedian, TV personality, radio personality. Follow him on
Facebook, romangarcia.com. That'll link you to all my social media.
There it is right there. So on another day, chasing the noses away.
What you got to say?